And hello, everybody. How are you doing? Welcome, you guys, to Mental Health Monday. And today I am going to talk about, and I'm very excited to talk about this today. We're going to talk about the intricacies of co-parenting. And before we begin, I do want to remind all of you guys to text the word love, Love. Wait, let me pull it up. Let me pull up the banner so that you guys will know. I would like for you guys to text the word love to this number 87948 so that you will know when I go live. I have some private groups. So I'm going to go live with private groups. And if you're on this text message list, you'll get exclusive access to some of my content that no one else, a lot of other people won't be able to have, and you'll be able to interact with me on a more personal level. So I just want to say welcome to everybody. We're talking about co-parenting. Oh my goodness. Hey, Tara. Tara's already in here. Welcome, Tara. Welcome. If you guys are just coming in, put your name, say hello in the chat, and I'll be sure to shout you out. So I have a special guest with me. Her name is Denise Moore, and she's a therapist, and she is all about healthy relationships. I was talking to her before this, and she's a therapist down in Florida. So all y'all in Florida, if you need somebody, contact Denise D. Moore and say hello. Hi. Oh, there's another Denise. Denise Brown. We got two Denise on here. Yes, Denise from Chicago. Okay. Welcome, Denise. Welcome. So, man, we are going to sit here and talk about the challenges of co-parenting. And we have a lot of high-profile scenarios. There are a lot of celebrities. We see them fall in love. We see them get married. We see them have relationships, but we also see the downside of this. We see these relationships fall apart, and we also see some of the drama around co-parenting. And we're not going to be here to gossip. We're here to take some of these visual examples that all of us see in the news, and we're going to help you make sense of these things. There are things and lessons that we can learn, legal and financial issues that happen even among celebrities. We know about Halle, not Halle Bailey, but Halle Berry. She went through a whole legal battle with her husband, her ex-husband, over custody rights. And so we're going to talk about effective communication. We're going to talk about boundaries. What are boundaries? How can you do this? How can you tell your the other parent what to do in their household? So we're going to have those conversations today. And so, Denise, would you like to take a few seconds just to introduce yourself to everybody?
Yes, absolutely. Hello, everyone. My name is Denise Moore. I'm a licensed mental health counselor and a qualified supervisor here in the great state of Florida. I love working with individuals who were previously in abusive and traumatic relationships. It is my goal to help you work through that, to help you love yourself again, to help you trust yourself again. And my niche is work with individuals who want to create new and healthy family patterns.
Oh, new and healthy family patterns. That is so important. And I think that new and healthy family patterns is what we have to establish when we're in a co-parenting situation. There's all this conflict and tension that we see when we're co-parenting. So everybody that's joining us, type in the chat. Are you guys in a co-parenting situation? Any of you all in co-parenting? Type it in the chat. Let us know who you are. I can include myself. I'm co-parenting. So, and it has been pretty smooth. I will have to say, thank goodness, but it doesn't have to be smooth. Sometimes it can be kind of bumpy, but there's things that you can do to help with the co-parenting situation. And so let's jump right into the conversation. How about Denise? Tell us, let's have a conversation about some of the legal and the financial battles of co-parenting. What have you noticed in your practice, and how can you help other people who are dealing with those issues?
So one thing I noticed in my practice, when parents are going through a divorce or a separation, normally the mother will have the child, and it is the father who's always having to foot the bill for that legal battle. And I hear the stories of they're not getting along, they're not coming to an agreement. Lies are also being told, as well as the father is fighting years to have rights to the child, to get names put on birth certificates, to have visitations with the child, just to be in a child's life, just be in a child's life, and it's hard. And so you have many fathers who want to give up because they feel that fight will take years and years, and sometimes it does.
Oh my goodness. Listen, this is so heartbreaking, because just because you and your partner are not together anymore, you have to put your interests aside. You have to put the child first. And just because your ex-partner was mean to you, and just because things fell apart, that does not necessarily mean that that other partner is going to be mean to the child. So you
Correct.
can't make that assumption anymore. And I love the fact that courts and a lot of lawyers and a lot of judges and a lot of states are starting to recognize fathers' rights, because parental alienation is a huge issue. And I think it's so important to, educate parents about how you can transition from being in a relationship with someone and raising a child together versus being in two separate households raising a child together, but you're separate. It creates this complex issue where you have to now renegotiate boundaries. You have to now start having different types of conversations and really putting your child ahead of hurt feelings. Have you ever seen anything like that in your practice?
Absolutely, absolutely. It's hard because one parent believes they're relinquishing control, or they will like to have all the control. That's not how life works. It's not realistic, and it's not healthy for the parents or the children. Just going through a legal battle, that's an emotional strain on an individual. That causes stress. It can cause depression, anxiety, trauma, depending on the background and what's happening. And not to mention the finance piece of it. Having financial issues all by themselves can bring upon some mental health issues, and it's challenging, because what do you do if you cannot afford an attorney? What do you do if you cannot continuously afford the legal battles or jump through the hoops? What do you do when you can't afford, get that assistance that you need, and you are a healthy parent to that child and you would like to be?
Yeah, I mean, it's really something, because you mentioned like depression and anxiety and trauma that comes with, separation like that, and not being able to spend time with your child, especially if you're not the custodian parent, right? Person,
Correct.
you're a non-custodian parent, and children can sense when you are going through depression, anxiety, and trauma related symptoms. Children can pick up on it. And by the way, children want their parents to be happy,
They do.
and there's this thinking I've noticed, that the only way for a child to be healthy it has to be an intact relationship.
Yes.
There is not, I will say that's the gold standard, right? The gold standard is for a child to be in an intact family relationship where they are in a household that's loving.
Yes.
But research is showing that that's necessarily, family structure doesn't necessarily dictate whether a child is going to end up healthy and be able to live their life and also get married and have children too in an intact family. What we're finding is that there's mitigating factors. And part of the mitigating factors is how both parents handle the co-parenting situation. Okay, so that's the thing that I just wanted to put out there. Just because you're in a co-parent situation doesn't mean that your child is going to be all messed up for the rest of their life. No, there's things that you can do to mitigate that. What have you found in your practice in terms of what you can do to mitigate some of the negative effects of having two parents split apart?
Yeah. Well, it's having the parents agree one, have that healthy communication and making sure they get along. If not for themselves, just actually for the child. Just for the child to see their parents healthy and for the child to see their parents communicating. Because as we know, children can pick parents against one another. The children will clink up and the adults will have no idea what's happening. You know, you will pay for, one parent will pay for this, the other parent will pay for the same thing. And, you know, without that communication there, you have no idea what's going on. Please have healthy communication skills. Okay. Speak to one another appropriately. If you cannot speak in person, there's parenting apps that they have here in the state of Florida for co-parenting. And so that's always, you know, great and the safest way for parents to do that. Learn how to listen to one another. You may not agree, but it is for the best interest of your child. Live in reality. Like, stay in reality. Let's live in reality. And realistically, this is what's needed for the child. Agree to that. I feel that it's not about feeling, it's about knowing. Let's live in reality. Is this the most appropriate and healthiest decision that we can make for our son and our daughter? Are we being an excellent model for them? Because they're looking and they're watching.
You know, I couldn't agree with you more. I want to talk about, did y'all hear what Denise just said? She said, you got to have healthy communication. She said, watch out, because children can be very manipulative. Yes, they certainly can. If they sense that their parents aren't getting along, they will use that information. Children are very crafty. They'll use manipulative little tactics because they know how to work their parents. They know what to say to one parent and what to say to another parent to get their way, and they'll be pitting y'all against each other. They smell. Let me tell you, kids are like sharks. I'm sorry. They smell a little bit of blood and they're going after it. They smell that there's a kink in the communication between the parents, and they will do what they can to manipulate it so bad where it works in their favor. And so children, and the issue is that when children do this, they are getting away with murder sometimes. And so, wait, hold on. I don't know what happened. Anyway, so sometimes they just feel like they can get away with murder. Okay. And so parents need to make sure their communication is strong. They need to make sure they are on the same page with regard to visitation, on the same page with regard to who pays for what, on the same page with every aspect of that child's life. Number one, so that the children don't feel anxious. They don't feel like, when is somebody picking me up? What's the schedule? What's the plan? We want to make sure that you're consistent, and the parents do not allow their children to know the big drama that may be going on, if there are any. So I love the fact that you brought up the fact that children can be very manipulative. I've seen it in my practice. I used to work with the courts. I live in Illinois, and I used to work with the county courts, and the GAL would deal with these parental alienation and all this dramatic divorce cases. And I would sit there. My job was to work with the parents and work with the child. It was a tough thing to do, but it was something that was really needed. And I've seen a lot of success stories where, I've seen success stories where children can become really healthy because the parents were able to get on the same board and communicate. But, I've also seen stories where the children are really, really suffering mentally because they're scared. And they're scared when they go to the non-custodial parent's house. They get very afraid because they don't want to go back and tell their custodial parent that they had a good time over there. They get into this competition, and it has an impact on them psychologically. Did you want to comment to any of that?
Yes, so that does. And I think what I'm seeing in Florida is more of the 50-50 split, which is great. 1 week with one parent, 1 week with the other parent. All for that, because it's healthy. It creates a routine. It lets the parents work with one another, attempt to have the same rules in both households, know the school schedules, know all the teachers, and know what's happening, because that's very, very much conducive, and it does decrease the anxiety and depression, amongst the children. Because sometimes you have the one parent, who was at their house? Are they dating? Are they singing? It is not a child's conversation. That ask the parent. And so you have to educate the parent. That's not a question that you ask the child. And you have to educate the child. Just let your parent know, call my daddy or call my mom. And that's it, because you put the child in an unhealthy place, and now they have to pick and choose, and then they're going to come and see us when they get older.
That is so true. And I love that you said, and I've done that too in a lot of my cases. It's if the parents don't get along, you do have to spend some time educating the child on what to say. So if you're at one parent's house and you overhear or you hear them bad mouthing the other parent, you can educate the child to say, you know what, I can hear you saying that, and I don't like when you talk bad about my dad.
Absolutely.
I have actually I've done role plays with children where I just say, next time your mom says something like this, here's what you say. Say, listen, I don't want to hear that. That has nothing to do with me, and I don't want to hear you badmouth my dad. Or I don't want to hear you badmouth my mom. Like, that's something that it makes me feel uncomfortable. Could you please stop? And, I think that's so important. If the parents don't get on the same board, we can start to empower the children. Unfortunately, sometimes they've had to make these comments where they say, I feel really uncomfortable. I really don't want you to have to put me in the middle and make me feel uncomfortable. I'm here to spend time with you. I've actually had children say, I'm like, could you just say next time your dad says that, could you say, I'm here to bond with you and to connect with you. I'm not here to talk about my mother and what's going on over at that household.
Correct.
Oh, Lord.
It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. So hopefully it can get better. And as we go through life, we go through certain situations that we never thought we would see ourselves in. Pretty sure people who were in co-parenting situations never thought they would be there. And so here they are. Now they have to navigate that depending on what they saw growing up.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. And then there it repeats the cycle, what they
Absolutely.
saw growing up. So hello, everybody. I want to welcome everybody. There's people in here. I just wanted to let you guys know we're talking about co-parenting today. And hey, if y'all know somebody in a co-parenting situation, you got to like this video and share it. Send this video to people. And if you're just joining me, put in the chat, anybody in a co-parenting situation, if you got some questions, listen, you got 2 licensed therapists right here. If you have questions about your co-parenting situation or someone you know asking for a friend, you don't have to self-disclose yourself, but make sure you okay, so Cody is saying Mr. Love Life is in a co-parenting situation. Yes, I am too. I have to include myself. I'm co-parenting. And so if you have some questions or some issues here with co-parenting, we're here to help you. Yes.
Absolutely.
So thank you, Rhonda. Rhonda, she's a normal member of book club. I read books and stuff, and we break it down to the audience. Thank you, Rhonda, for your comments. But yeah, so this is really interesting. We're kind of talking a little bit about some of the financial constraints, some of the parental alienation issues. But one thing that you just hit upon, Denise, that I think is really interesting is the issues of boundaries. Now, I know you guys know in the news, in the celebrity news, that there was this big issue with, she's a singer and she was in Little Mermaid. Her name is Halle, not Halle Berry, but Halle Bailey. She posted on social media. She's married to or had a baby. They weren't married, but she has a baby with a gentleman who is a YouTuber. That's what he does. He makes millions of dollars on YouTube, and he was taking care of the child. They're co-parenting. He was in his parenting role, and in his parenting role as a professional YouTuber, he shows his son on YouTube. So thousands of people saw the baby, and Halle Bailey put up a stink about it. He was like, I don't want my child shown on YouTube. And immediately I was thinking, wait a minute, you can't tell the father what to do when the child is in his custody. You have no say so with what happens in the other parent's household. They have their rules. It'd be nice if everybody was on the same page, but they don't have to be. You can't tell somebody what to do. And it made me want to reach out to you and have this conversation about boundaries. So what can you say, Denise, about healthy boundaries in terms of what happens in the other household compared to what happens in your household? What do you have to say to that? And I know there's caveats there.
Yeah, absolutely. So one, know what a boundary is. Do you have boundaries for yourself? People have personal boundaries, financial boundaries, etc. So know what a boundary is. Have rules and standards for yourself that even you will not cross. Have rules and standards for your family that no one will cross. And so when you become parents and you're together and you're pregnant and you're talking about the life of your child or children, depending on the birth, are you talking about those boundaries? Have you discussed that prior to having a baby? And so now what we see a lot of times is in the news and within social media is that when one person have the child, they want to put rules in place. And like you said, Dr. Alicia, you cannot control the other person. You cannot tell them what they can and cannot do. You can have a conversation about it, but you can't tell them what to do. Now, both individuals, you're celebrities, so you live your life in front of the camera. And so that will happen from time to time. Is the baby safe? Is the baby secured? Is the baby, well fed or hungry? Is the baby looking as if they're being neglected, etc.? And so you may feel some type of way about it, as people say. However, it's just okay to pick up the phone and call the other parent and say, hey, I was a little uncomfortable about that. Can we talk about that? Can we set some boundaries surrounding that? What would you like to see me do in regards to our child and social media? I have the child, and let's agree on something together, because it's not just about one parent. It's about both parents and the child.
Thank you, Denise. That was so beautiful, because that is what she should have done. She can't tell the other parent what to do with their child when they're spending time with them. She can't just dictate, this is how I want things to go when the baby is in your house. Like, that's not possible. And I see here somebody is, we got questions in the chat, girl. We got questions. Oh my God. There's some baby mama drama in the chat. Y'all got baby mama drama or baby daddy drama? Put your questions in the chat. I saw a couple and someone was here out of bounds. Look at this. Jerry June. Thank you for sharing, Jerry June. Jerry June is saying, what would you do when his mother tells the son not to eat daddy's fiance cooking? Come on.
We want the baby to starve. Okay, I'm sorry.
Exactly. What were you going to say?
So we want the baby to starve?
What is this? What do you do when the mother tells the son not to eat the daddy's fiance cooking? Listen, that's out of bounds.
It's very much so. I can't even believe this is a question, but however, it does happen.
It happens.
You really have to take the son aside and let him know that it's safe to eat. Like, I need you to eat food. It's safe to eat unless there are some allergies that for whatever reason, it's okay to eat. It's okay to eat. And please call the mom and have a conversation. Say, dude, maybe we need to go back to court and do some mediation. I'm not sure. Maybe you need a nutritionist to come in and assist. But something needs when my son comes over, my son will eat in my house, no matter who's cooking. Unless it's something the son doesn't eat or it's an allergy. But to just try to assert that control and authority in somebody else's house is unhealthy.
Very unhealthy.
Look at the child. The child is in the middle. Not a child can't eat.
Not a child can't eat, right? And so the child doesn't want to defy his mother, but at the same time, he wants to have a good time with his father. And if his father has moved on, which a lot of us do, you want to have a nice, healthy environment. The mother saying that to a child is not creating a healthy environment. And I really do think that mamas, I know sometimes it hurts if you really still love somebody and they've moved on. You cannot use that baby to get back at them. You have got to somehow in yourself grow up and learn that you don't want to harm your child. And I'm not saying this mother probably doesn't like that, but I'm not saying that this mother intentionally wants to harm the child, Jerry. Okay. But I'm saying is that she just needs to know that it is potentially going to harm the child. Her actions are
Correct.
not coming across as healthy. And
Correct.
also to the father who's in the middle of this, that father needs to educate the son to say, the next time your mom makes a statement about what goes on in this house, maybe you need to tell your mom, listen, I want to go over there and I want to have a good time. I mean, if depending on the age of the child, of course.
Correct.
Try to help that child get some language to put some boundaries up. And
Absolutely.
you know what? Honestly, I live in the state of Illinois. I have seen the courts get real savvy. They're starting to understand that sometimes a custodial parent can take their control and start to abuse it when it comes to the child. And I've seen a lot of courts crack down on that. They don't play when it comes to that sort of thing. So, oh my God, we got a lot of questions in the chat. Okay, let me see.
Let's see.
Oh my goodness, let's see another one. Oh, we got Rhonda. Rhonda said, I co-parented with my ex-husband, which went progressively well. Yay, bravo, Rhonda, bravo. Our son took to his dad to act as though I should be chastised. Wait, our son took to his dad to act as though I should be chastised. Oh my goodness. Once we showed a united front, that went completely away. Yes, a united front keeps things nice and smooth.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Rhonda, for sharing your story. Okay, Miss China Doll. China Doll has a question. My son has been jumped by his cousin numerous times, including black eye and various injuries, but it's disregarded as not a big deal. Okay, so I think Miss China Doll is talking about an incident that happened when her son is with probably
the other parent,
father, right? The other parent. And so, I think that is a problem. You know, you can ask questions depending on the age of the child. What would you say, Miss Denise, to Miss China Doll?
China, that's a dangerous situation, because when children receive injuries, CPS is called Child Protective Services. I'm not sure what it's called in other states. They are called, and if the injuries continue to occur, they'll be looking at the custodial parent as to why isn't that a safe situation? Why are you failing to protect your child? Definitely have a conversation. If the conversation is not happening, I would say legal action and or mediation, because it's putting that child in danger. Because should the non-custodial parent is not around, children pass away from fights. I'm trying to say it where we're not going to get it. Children pass away
unalived. Yes.
Unalived. Sometimes it just takes one hit for something to happen seriously. Like we've known someone personally close to us, 6th graders fought. One child didn't make it home. It was just a regular fist fight. And so we want to prevent more undue stress and pressure on the family unit and on that child. Now the child is scared to go over to the other parent. Really? It's not safe. That's a bully. It's not a safe situation. It's not a safe situation.
Yeah, it's definitely not a safe situation. And you want your child to go over to the non-custodial parent's house or the custodial parent's house and feel like that child is protected. So it's important to stay in tune with your child to make sure that they will talk to you if there's something going on. But really, it's almost like you can't control everything, you know, and I don't want to like blame you, but you pick that person to be the father or you pick that person to be the mother. And so, you know, these sort of things happen. You really can't, you have to trust and believe that you've made a good decision with the best that you can do and try to create an open communication, not only with the other parent, but also with your child. And usually I just say, when the child comes back over here, when the kids come back over to my house, I just say, I hope you had a good time. You know, tell me what happened, you know, not to say, tell me not to kind of juice them for information about the other parent, but just to say, did you have a good time? Tell me, what did you do? Tell me about your weekend. And I'm not asking, I'm just asking because I'm checking in with them and making sure that everything is okay.
Absolutely.
Do something fun. That's so wonderful. I really enjoy it. It's encouraging open communication without prying into what's going on over there, because it's none of your business anymore. That relationship is over. It's none of your business what happens over there. So
something else.
Go ahead.
I've seen in my practice when working with co-parents is that when the one child is visiting the other parent, the one parent will call and check on them for about 30 minutes, an hour, to just take that time away. And if, let's say, the child may not be there or sleeping or something, then the parent becomes upset. You're keeping my child away, and we have to do better. We have to think realistically, because in a healthy household, a boundary may be put in place that you can only call at a certain time, and once that time is there's no more phone calls.
Yeah, I really do. I mean, unless there's an emergency or anything, you have no business like reaching out to your child while they're at the other parent's house. Let them go and enjoy themselves. And I do find with a lot of alienation, because I did work on a lot of parental alienation cases, I did find that there were some issues there with the other parent constantly calling and taking that child away from spending family time with their other family, and it really caused commotion. And so that's where I think you can bring the courts involved, and to say, hey, these conversations have to be limited to a certain amount of time. And I've worked with a lot of, particularly this happens with a lot of custodial mothers. Mm-hmm. And I talk to some of the mothers and I say, what are you doing when your child is over at the father's house? Like, what are you doing for yourself? What type of self-care are you doing? What other things are you involved with? Like having another life outside of centering everything around your child. And that's helping the mom, in a lot of cases, have themselves healthy boundaries. To make sure that they're just too busy to have to try to think constantly about what's going on.
And worry. Exactly.
Yeah. So, okay. So everybody, We Are Farrakhan. He's talking about, I'm getting drugged in and through court over mine. Oh my God, Farrakhan, I'm so sorry about this. Oh my goodness. If you have a question for us and we can help you, we'll help guide you. Getting drugged in and through court is not anything fun. It's so unfortunate that perhaps it sounds like communication has broken down and now you have to use the court system to be able to communicate. And I'm really sorry about that. I don't know if it's what the issue is, if it's visitation or if it's, child support issues or what's happening. My heart goes out because, you want your children to look back on their younger years and you want them to be able to say, I had a fun time as a child. You want your children to grow up and to reflect on their experiences when they were younger and have positive memories. And I think that when you're going into courts and you're going back and forth, that's not good. You really have to put the interest of the child. You have to put your ego aside sometimes and really honestly do what's best for the child, making sure that child has a good relationship with their other parent. Yes. That's how you mitigate some of the negative effects of divorce and separation. It's making sure, and children want to see their parents happy. And parents, we want our children to grow up and be able to say, you know what? My parents got along, although they weren't together anymore, but they got along and I'm better for it. And so you want to add to that, Denise?
I just want, when you mentioned that children would like to remember their childhood when they get older, when they come see me, that's not always the case. That's why I did please, y'all. That's not always the case. Like for, right now, you may want to have that one, that the dominant role of the child. And again, like children are supposed to have both parents as long as it is safe. Children are to have both parents. And like you said, Dr. Alicia, you chose that person to have a child with. You chose to go through and have the child and give birth and keep the child and raise the child, knowing that there will be issues that, that's happening, or maybe you did not know. And so now here you are. So please take your feelings out of it. Your feelings don't live here. Take your feelings out of it and definitely make the best decision for your child and the healthiest decision. Or I will never be out of a job.
We'll never be out of a job. Listen, everybody, I want to be out of a job. So do know that if you're raising heck with the other parent and you're an unfortunate Farrakhan, hopefully we are Farrakhan, drugged in and out of court. I mean, situations like this is what keeps us in business. I want to work. I want to be able to go and do something else for a living because everybody is sound. Everybody is sound and they don't need me anymore. I want to be unneeded. So I want to work myself out of a job. I really, really do. That is my goal in life, is to make sure everybody is whole, everybody is complete, everybody is authentic, everybody is transparent, everybody just the wonderful kind of love. That's the kind of world I want to live in. And so it just sometimes feels like an uphill battle, Denise.
Yeah.
We got questions here in the chat. Yes. Okay. So We Are Farrakhan says all of the above, even have false accusations. On me. Sexual assault. We have had court this month, and I haven't seen my daughter since June. That's devastating. Devastating.
See that we see that, of course. And like you said earlier, there are a lot of times that mothers will become bitter and will become hatred. Will have hatred towards the father, and the father is trying to do is to have a healthy relationship with the child. So if you can, sir, if you have an attorney, and you believe the attorney is not doing what they need to do, it's okay to consult another attorney on the case just to get some ideas. I just had to advise somebody to do that, and it helped a great deal. And it feels right now that you are getting nowhere, you're going nowhere, the courts is winning and she's winning. And it's easy for me to say don't give up, but I hear a lot of men want to give up because it is so daunting, and the mental stress and toll that it takes on you and your body and your finances.
Yes.
Your child definitely needs you in their life. Yes. Definitely get another consult, and if there has been no proof, when you go to court, say, listen, this been going on for this long. Judges love facts.
Yes.
State facts, deal facts, have timelines. Okay, how can we move forward? I haven't seen my daughter since June. We're not bonding. We're not strengthening our relationship. We're not bonding. I'm not even receiving supervised visitations. What's happening here?
Yeah, supervised visitations at the least should be happening. Mr. Farrakhan, I'm so sorry about that. And we got questions. So I just want to say, we're almost done. We're almost at the top of the hour. Welcome, everybody. We're talking about co-parenting. I see y'all comments in the chat. Oh, boy, we got some comments. We're going to take one more question. Maybe we have to have a part 2 on this because this is something. Boy, we have one question from Danielle. Danielle Coleman is saying, what if your ex is too comfortable coming over to your house after the breakup?
Oh, wow. Why are you comfortable opening the door for them?
I would be like, what is this? And you know what? This is a really good question about boundaries, because
yes, it is.
When you are no longer in a relationship with that person, whether you've moved on or not, it's so important to have boundaries such that it can allow you to move on whenever you're ready. So I think that you definitely, again, open communication, healthy communication, and just say, hey, listen, we're not in this relationship anymore. You just can't come over whenever you feel like it. Let's come up with a schedule that both of us can agree to. I do not feel comfortable with this. Mm-hmm. And if that person violates, what were you going to say, Denise?
Stick to the schedule.
Yes.
Stick to your boundary. Stick to your rule.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like when you give a rule to the child in the home, and then you slack, and the child's like, oh, you're not on me for doing my chores. I'm going to have fun. Stick to it. It's going to be uncomfortable in the beginning. Mm-hmm. Stick to it. That's the healthiest way, because when that other person see that you're not sticking and holding to your boundaries and your rules, they're going to violate and violate and violate and continuously violate. Definitely stick to it.
Yeah, and it's something, because if he coming over to the house, maybe he used to live there at some point. So maybe it could be a signal to maybe get another place, maybe, you may be, if you're in that situation where it's possible, maybe you can get another place and say, hey, this is not our place anymore. Maybe mentally and psychologically, they still consider that place where they used to live as their own. Sometimes they're just like, but wait, I can always, it's innocent. Sometimes it's innocent, sometimes it's not. But sometimes they need to be reminded, hey, we need to set up some really healthy boundaries here. So I know when you're coming over, because I don't want it to be uncomfortable for me or for you or for any of that. I mean, think about it. We got the holidays coming up. Y'all, we're a couple of weeks away from Christmas.
We are. It's tomorrow.
I think that's a good idea. Okay, all your co-parents that are in here, we're going to give some tips before we head out. I just want to tell everybody to, if you want to know when I'm going live, I may have to do a part 2 of this. Text the word love to 87948. You'll get information. I'm doing some private Zoom sessions meetings with everybody. Make sure you do that. But I think we got the holidays coming on, and I think I will end with this. Miss Denise.
Hey.
What advice, before we leave, number one, what advice would you give to parents, co-parenting with the holidays coming around? And then let everybody know how they can reach you if they live in Florida or elsewhere and want to follow up with you.
Absolutely. So with the holidays coming around, please stick to your schedule. If you don't have a schedule, create one. And remember, it is about the child's memory. We want the children to have a great time, whatever they are celebrating in this month of December. Please be healthy. Please be happy. Please be whole. Allow them to be involved as well. Let's do some traditions. And if you have not had traditions before, it is great to start. Let's be peaceful around the holidays, and let's be mindful that the children are out of school for an 2 weeks, maybe. I'm not sure, depending on where you're living at. And split the time and spend time with them. Spend time with them. And to reach me if you're in Florida, my phone number is 813-563-8227. That's how you can reach me. 813-563-8227. My website is gettherapy.org. That's GETTHERAPY.org. And if you need to email me, it's wellness@gettherapy.org. In Florida, I can offer therapy sessions, but if you're anywhere else, we can do our coaching sessions.
Yes, awesome. Y'all got that? Y'all got the telephone number to a real live licensed therapist that can help you with all this. Thank you so much. And then Miss Danielle, while we were talking, she's like, she looks like the bad guy because my daughter wants to see him every day. But I mean, I think that's great. We want to see this. Thank you, Danielle. Danielle's done a great job. Just based on what she's saying, she does a great job because she's helping to facilitate a healthy relationship between her daughter and her father. And I love little girls, they idealize their dad. And I think that's so wonderful. But away from the child, setting up a real tight schedule, because it's disruptive. He needs to know how disruptive this is and how she's experiencing it, because the best way to love your child is to love the other parent. And you have to love them enough to be able to respect their boundaries. You have to love your child enough to love the other parent and respect their boundaries. That's love. And we've been talking about love in my book club. So I just want to say love is respect. And part of that is, children are something, because children can pick up on it. Children love, I like to spend time with my dad. The children is encouraging the child. She could be encouraging her dad to come over more, because a lot of children in their mind, they fantasize about their parents getting back together. Mm-hmm. So again, maybe it is a conversation with the little girl. I don't know how old she is, Danielle, but maybe it's a conversation with her about, mommy and daddy really love you and we love each other, but we're not going to, we are we have to set some boundaries, and we're not going, he just can't come over whenever he feels like it, because, you know, that's how we're going to respect each other. So it's a good lesson for children about boundaries.
It is. It is.
I wish y'all the best. Everybody in the chat, all the co-parents out there, I'm gonna give you a round of applause. It's hard work. It's not easy. I am Farrakhan. I wish you the best. I hope you get to see. I hope you get to see your baby girl for the holidays, or your child for the holidays. If not, just know, just keep the hope alive. Fathers, never give up. Never give up on having a healthy relationship. If you're not the custodial, if you're the non-custodial parent, never give up on still trying to establish healthy communication, healthy boundary. That is your child. Do not give up. Do not be discouraged. Mamas, don't be discouraged. Try to pull the other partner in. Do not get discouraged. Never give up on trying to have a healthy relationship. Be patient. Have patience. Have patience. And I just want to thank you. Oh, if anybody wants to work with me, it's coachingwithdralicia.com. I ain't giving you my phone number out. Y'all ain't calling me. But if you do, go to my website and you put your information in and you book a consultation, you do get my phone number then. Then you'll get my phone number. But that's okay. You got Denise's number. You can call her.
Call the office.
If you're not in Florida, she'll be coaching with you. Listen, there's a ton of therapists out here. It don't seem like we're ever going out of business.
No, absolutely not.
Don't seem like we're going out of business. Man, Denise, thank you so much for coming on. I really love that you filled out the form and I reached out to you. I got to have you back on here. We got to talk about co-parenting. We got to help these celebrities out.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Anytime.
Yes. All right.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. And thank you, everybody. Thank you, Rhonda. Thank you, Danielle. Best to you. All the best to I Am Farrakhan. Hope you deal with that situation soon. Marvin, I see your question. We didn't get to everybody's question. Alicia Hines, Eric Devon, all y'all. Thank you for coming. And goodbye, everybody. I'll see you guys next Monday. Okay. Bye-bye.